For 60% of women, flexibility is an important consideration in choosing a role at BNZ. We'd encouraged flexible hours, and in fact nearly all jobs were meant to have been advertised with a flexible option. But when I checked in on progress, I found that only 30% of our roles were being advertised with those flexible options. Now, that wasn't because people didn't necessarily support the concept of flexible working, but every job owner, if you like, every manager that advertised a job, well, 70% of them had a reason why they didn't think that job in the particular circumstances at the particular time with whatever particular pressures were on them could be done flexibly. So I then dug in a bit further and said, well, what do we need to change? And so the first thing we changed was to make it, rather than opt in, we made it compulsory and we said all jobs have to be advertised as flexible. And the second bit is we said, look, they have to be advertised as flexible unless there's a really good reason. That reason needs to be documented and it's reported so that you need sign off at the next level up of the next most senior people manager, and we get to see the data, which does a couple of things. First of all, it demonstrates we're serious about it. Secondly, you get senior management executive oversight, which people take seriously. Thirdly, you get to understand what might be some of the structural impediments to flexible working, and there's going to be some. And then it's our job to try and work out how we solve for those structural impediments. When we did this, the number of roles being advertised with flexible options shot up from 30% to 80%, which is what we achieve now. There's two morals to the story, I think. The first one is that most people that I ever talk to or meet, but people support the concept of flexible working and of the broad platform of diversity. You don't get a lot of people saying, no, look, I just don't think that's relevant. But it's another question to see how it's implemented practically. So I think people support it, but you've got to do more to make sure that it's actually executed and implemented well. And I think the second is, as a leader, leading BNZ, and I stand up there and say diversity is important, I can't stop at, well, I can tick the box because we've got a policy. What you need to do as a leader who's committed to making a difference on diversity, and in this case, flexible working, is you need to roll your sleeves up and go and ask the people in the trenches on the front line, how is this policy being implemented? Is it getting executed? And if not, why not? And what are the barriers to really getting the cut through that you need to get to make a difference in the diversity space?